Hello everybody. I'd like to invite you to join me in a little thought experiment I was playing with earlier. I was imagining 56 million years from now. Well, actually what I was imagining was the perspective of our world now from those who might exist 56 million years from now. What I'm going to state here are some things that I think are real possibilities. There's not so much fantasy as I might imagine. First, 56 million years from now, that will most likely come about. It'll be as real then as what we know now. The possibility that life may be around in 56 million years, I believe, is quite possible as well. I think there's a very serious possibility that our descendants may be around as well, meaning that maybe a form of intelligent life that would be unrecognizable to us, perhaps, but nevertheless, they're perhaps very likely our own. I'm very optimistic in that regard. I also think, if you've seen my videos in the past on this channel, there's some other principles that I hold as possible real coming about in the future. One is the concept of immortality, and I think that will occur as well in 56 million years. I'm putting some big numbers out. I think there's the possibility that in 56 million years there may be beings that have been around for 150,000 years. Virtual immortals that have been around so long. And I'm choosing 56 million years arbitrarily, but I'm imagining that might be the time when time travel. Now that's true speculation there. I'm stepping out on a limb there. Maybe time travel, or maybe something not quite like time travel, but maybe something akin to what we do now with telescopes and looking back through time by simply looking very far away. That's a type of time exploration that we are doing right now. So what possibilities for exploration might our descendants have in 56 million years, especially descendants that are immortals and capable of ascending to heights of wisdom and understanding and experience that are unimaginable to us. What might they see if they were to look back and gaze perhaps at this moment right now, this century right now? What would their thoughts be about us? Well, first of all, I think that it's a stretch to even imagine that they'll think the way that we do anymore. But if they were thinking as we do in some basic manner, some similar manner to the way we're thinking, I think that they would make three observations. The first is they would see us, and the first thing that they would see is that we are suffering from an appalling ignorance. And I don't mean ignorance as stupidity. There's a difference between stupidity. I don't like to use the word stupid. I think it's a loaded term that those to whom it is applied are often beaten down in a way. I think that there's folly and there's ignorance, and I think that there is some degree of capability that people have, but I don't like to go about measuring that. I don't think we have a true ability to do that, and wisdom and genius show up in the oddest places sometimes. So I don't think that they would see us necessarily as stupid, but they would see us as appallingly ignorant, in ignorance being in holding on to and having at our disposal experience and understanding of the universe. We will be. I mean, just compared to our ancestors 300 years ago, they were appallingly ignorant compared to what we know about the universe now. Imagine 56 million years from now, it'll be almost incomprehensible. So they'll see that and they'll understand that. They'll basically arrive with that understanding. But one of the things that might shock them, or might surprise them at least, I doubt that much will shock them, of a 150,000-year-old individual. But one thing that might surprise them is our cyclic way of thinking. We think and we observe a world that is full of cycles, and we think in terms of cycles. We live our lives especially because we're tied to death and birth. We live our lives with the apprehension of cycles occurring and the steps along the way, and then the eventual giving up and the conclusion of something, and the rebirth or birth again of something new. We witness the biological cycle, the cycles that happen in nature, and those cycles, the immortals, the 150,000-year-old immortal from 56 million years from now will be well aware of the cycles of life, but might be astonished by how our minds are so overwhelmingly dominated by the thoughts of cyclic living and cyclic thinking in a way. The third thing that I think that they'll observe is how the reality, the fact that we must live with death, the reality of death, and the visualization of it, seeing it, the witnessing of the passing of people in our own lives. They will be astonished, perhaps. I love to use that word, because I think that in some ways it will be an astonishing thing to them. They'll be astonished by our ties to the cyclic nature of things. They'll be astonished by the way that the reality of death in our life dominates our very fabric of society and our thinking, the way that we have institutions of primary education, with the way that we have institutions of handling the infirmities that come with old age, of death, and most of all the institutions of religion that allow us to that basically, I think, give us comfort against the reality of death. Now, to an immortal, religion may not be nearly as important as science, and I think that not at all. Maybe that is my great folly to imagine that. But I think that religion will be an astonishing, the impact that it has on us now. And I love to use that word astonishing, because I think it fits so perfectly. They'll be astonished by our predisposition through our upbringing towards spirituality and religion, which they are maybe perhaps separate in a way, but I don't know. I think that spirituality and religion I'm getting into something else, but the whole thing, how much time we spend in our lives to do that, the way that we arrest our development and thought, our mental development, we truly do. That might really be the most astonishing, to use that word again, thing of all, is the way that they'll look at us and how at an early age we will stop thinking. And we will arrest our development, our mental capacity towards further exploration, in order to settle on something that gives us the mere comfort of years, and gives us some courage against the night that's coming, when they will see through their own development, I believe, through their own experience, the wonders that unfold before them, through simply the acceptance of the challenge of life. So that's what I think the immortals will see. And of course they'll be utterly invisible. They could be here now. I don't think we'll have any idea that they are around, just as we are able to monitor the activities on distant worlds now, and the solar systems, and even to count the number of the size and the number of microscopic buckyballs of orbiting distant stars. I mean, we are able to do that stuff now at our own level, and they have no idea that those places, we're able to do it at such a remote distance, and there's not even visiting those areas. I think the 150,000-year-old immortals of 56 million years from now will be able to likewise visit upon us in ways, in such a way that we will have no idea that they were even here. And they will, perhaps if they made themselves known to us, they would be likened to gods. Just as the old adage goes, that any technology sufficiently advanced will appear to be magic. Maybe therein lies the true origin of the stories, the myths of the gods, perhaps. But it's a fun mental game, a mental exercise that I was playing today, throughout the day, imagining the visitor from the distant future, a visitor who is no longer shackled by the realities of death, and whose vast experience, encompassing not just centuries, but millennia, vast millennia, and with seemingly no end in sight, will give them an ability to comprehend and to observe the universe in such a way that will be beyond us. And although we may hold some surprises for them, being their ancestors may hold surprises because of the brevity of our life, and the brevity and the sheer minuscule nature of our current scale of understanding of the universe around us. Thanks for joining me, friends. I'm going to sign off for now as the lights in the shrine give us a little faint illumination, just like our species has right now. But maybe that'll all change as we progress further. Take care, everybody. Good night.